helping IITians see opportunities outside their area. So for example, you and me both know technology is now in everything. You and me are seeing it. Like, even if you look back 20 years ago, the way you used to do stage lighting and today you do stage lighting is very different. If we talk about web series, that was not even a concept 20 years ago. And today web series are so big and so huge, it's phenomenal. Like, there are companies pouring and generating hundreds of millions of dollars. I met a friend of Tyus, Andre Zeke. He's just a YouTuber, and the guy generate $1 million plus. And that is phenomenal, because that is a game changer now. And that changes everything, right? That changes how we get education. That changes how we think about technology. That changes everything we do in our life. And the beautiful thing is, anybody can be a brand. So that's my expectation. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, I think it sounds great. I mean, technology is an incredible thing, right? It's like, but it's the old conundrum of, is technology surpassing evolution? You know what I mean? Because you've got this interesting parallel path, because technology can be used for unbelievably good, or technology can be used not so good. You know, and that's what I'm sort of witnessing right now. Like, I don't know if you saw The Social Experiment, The Social Dilemma. That's a documentary on Netflix, but it's pretty eye-opening, man. It's pretty unbelievable. The artificial intelligence that these companies like Google, et cetera, created is, you know, they're becoming smarter than the programmer who actually programmed it. And they're using this to get in our minds to sell us stuff, to, you know, whatever you're thinking eventually comes out in front of you and in your face. So it's a very incredibly powerful technology medium. And again, it's all how you're going to use it, and how you're going to approach it. You know, and people that want to better the world, I think it's an amazing tool to do that. It brings everybody closer together. I always joke with my wife, I'm like, you know, look at this, we're living in the Jetsons world, right? It's like, you know, when you get phone, we can talk to each other, we can send pictures and videos through thin air. You know what I mean? It's just, it's unbelievable. You know, it's incredible. Look at us right now. We're talking, you know, video conferencing. I can be the other part of the world as long as there's an internet connection. Internet too. Where did that come from? You know what I mean? It's like, it's absolutely unbelievable. And I'm seeing it in my kids too. You know, like my 2.5-year-old son is, you know, getting on an iPad and flipping through and finding his particular YouTube Kids application, going on there and looking for his stuff. And of course, we watch to make sure it's safe. But it's just mind blowing to watch it unfold, you know, through our kids. And the future is going to be incredible, man. I mean, just like you said, the last 20 years, look, you know, I came up with the age of, you know, rotary dial phones and 3 channels on the television. And you know, and then all of a sudden you get a beeper, you know, in the early 80s, and then all of a sudden the bag phone, and then the mid 80s, late 80s, and then the cell phone. And it's just, it's unbelievable. It's speeding up so fast because of how many brilliant people there are, mostly from India. It seems to be something in the water. Maybe it's that drive. Maybe it's that, like you talked about earlier, you know, coming from nothing and wanting to have something and just applying yourself and, you know, having no distractions, but just to, you know, better your situation, you know. Oh, I can't hear you.
Is there any question I should ask or I shouldn't ask out of the questions I have sent you?
I didn't look at them. Just ask me whatever. Okay. And if you want to edit something out, you can go right ahead.
Perfect. So I'll just do a few things. So one is, initially, I would like to talk about your background. So I found some information out that. And I'm hoping you can share a story from your past, which still inspires you. Second is, I have a question around, you came to Las Vegas 20 years ago and odds was not in our favor, sorry, your favor. How did you penetrate Las Vegas market? Because that can be a very interesting question and will be a good big question for most of the audience.
Sure.
Third is, or we can ask it differently. You're a self-made man, built an entertainment empire in a town like Las Vegas. You have seen 2 recessions and started your business after 9/11. Let's talk about the odds. And we are in Las Vegas. So odds are everything here, right? So that's one of my favorite questions. if that's
Sure.
okay with you. And bolt-on question to that is, what keeps you going and what is the secret?
Sure.
The other question is, what do you think about creating a global scale entertainment infrastructure? It's a pretty open-ended question. You can talk about whatever you want.
Sure.
The next one is, pandemic has disrupted entertainment business. We both understand there is no substitute to live shows. Do you see a omni-channel hybrid approach to the future of entertainment? And if it is, what? The other question I have about you is, you may have watched movie Ready Player One.
No,
is
I
that
haven't.
the future?
I don't know what that is.
Have you watched that movie?
No, I don't know what it is. I've never referenced it.
Oh, you should watch that movie, man. You are an entertainment industry. You better watch that movie. So I'll skip that question and we'll talk about it.
Gotcha.
It's really, really very well done movie in my opinion. And where they talk about is the people are just living in this virtual world, and then the reality is something else, and then how that transform the way they do things, the way they think. I mean, it's a pretty cool book. It's based on a book. Book is of course better than the movie. I believe Steven Spielberg is the producer.
Oh, no kidding. Cool.
This is a big movie. A couple of questions around tech, but we can talk about web series and AI in one question. So because
web series,
sorry,
web city, what was that?
No, web series. You know, on YouTube you have these entertainment series and all. I don't know what you call it. I call it web series. Like you do the Netflix series instead of Netflix series. You create your own.
Okay.
Yeah, but so we can talk about the YouTube or our future of channels like YouTube. What do you think about that? So yeah, I just want one question or two questions around tech. What do you think will be most appropriate for you, which you will love to answer?
Oh God, I have no idea, man.
AI, future of AI in entertainment?
Sure. I don't know what my answer is going to be, but
no, it's a conversation. We are just talking.
You can edit it out.
We can change it. Now, the other question I have, which is a little bit lightweight question, is if you can go back in time, just like Back to the Future, and you can have a date or you can spend a day with someone, who will that be and why?
Okay.
Majority of our audience are in technology. Do you have a challenge for our audience? Problem you think technology can solve, but you don't see a solution.
Okay.
What role curiosity has played in your life? So I have like 7 or 8 questions, but we can pick 4 or 5 and then.
You know what, just ask, if you don't mind, ask the questions, and if I draw a blank, we can move on to the next one or something. Does that work? Or does it just, okay, good.
Perfect. So I'm going to start the session, and we'll do the Facebook Live. But
you can do Facebook Live right now?
Of course, limited audience, man. Don't worry. Only 10 people will watch. I find that helps both of us a little bit more formal.
Cool.
And it's fun because I'm surprised I'm getting up to 2,000 views without advertising.
That's
no
great.
Promotion.
That's good.
It's good for both of us, right?
Excuse me.
Oh, no. Okay, we are live. I'm going to start. Would you like to impact 1 billion lives? Welcome to our show, IIT 2020, Impact fireside chat video series where we invite thought leaders, innovators to discuss their approach of future, especially in post-pandemic world. Today, I have a very special guest, Mr. Adam Steck. Adam is a founder of SPI Entertainment, a Las Vegas-based a production company, entertainment production company, and talent agencies. They have 6 major shows in Las Vegas. Longest running show in Las Vegas. Let's talk to him about his journey and figure out how he made it happen. And he has done all this in less than 20 years. And those of you who doesn't know about Las Vegas, this is the entertainment capital of the world. So Adam, you came to Las Vegas from New York via Iowa, which I find very interesting. And you have spent some time in Florida too. So can you share any story of your life which still resonate with you, still inspires you?
Wow, interesting question. There's many things that inspire me. I get inspired every day from my kids. I watch television. I get inspired by other people's stories, their struggles, and how they've overcome it. But for me, the first thing that comes to my mind is inspiration. On my upbringing. I was born in the Queens, like you mentioned, Bayside, Queens, in 1970. Single mother, raising 2 kids. I have an older sister who's 4 years older than me. Our father left us, abandoned us, started another family, never had contact with us at all. Didn't give any money, none of that. And then my mother had to, by herself at 25 years old, make things happen for us. She worked 3 jobs. She studied to be a stenographer and then a secretary. And then she has to take a bus and 2 trains into the city to work every day and get back before we came back from school. And I look back at that and go, wow, that is the most inspiring thing in the world. And maybe that's perhaps where maybe I get some of my drive from if I look back at it.
The hard work.
The super hard work and talking about overcoming obstacles. And, we had no family there per se to help out. So it was really my mother on her own. So that is truly inspiring to me how, especially now that I'm a parent, I've got a 2.5-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. So I reflect back and I'm thinking, my goodness, could I have done that at 25 years old by myself? It would have been extremely challenging. So that's inspiration to me. Is basically I go back to my childhood and what my mother had to do and sacrifice.
So never giving up and really working with the family and really very high family values.
Absolutely. And love was the key ingredient. And we grew up extremely poor, but I didn't know I was poor. You know what I mean? I didn't. The only time I knew that I maybe didn't have as much as the other kids is when I got a little older, like 2nd, 3rd grade, and I would go to other friends' houses and they have like a house. Like, oh wow, this is amazing. And our house was like a little apartment, a garden apartment. Maybe 400 or 500 square feet. And my sister and I shared a room, and my mother was in the living room on the couch that folded out. So so we never knew that we were poor or anything like that. My mom used to I remember food stamps coming once a month. We had this big, the groceries would come and we'd be so excited, but we'd have enough to eat, so my mom did an incredible job, nurturing me and my sister, sheltering us from, any sort of negative vibes or, oh, woe is me or anything like that. We're not as good as anybody else, sort of a thing. So yeah, man, it's interesting you asked that question. My mind goes right to that.
So it's phenomenal, Adam. I always tell everyone I didn't knew that I was poor growing up because we had so much love. And it's such an amazing thing. And that is where I feel that people don't have gratitude is if they focus on love, money comes and goes. But let's talk a little bit more about your professional career. Sure. You moved to Las Vegas 20 years ago. And you built an entertainment empire in a town like Las Vegas. You have seen 2 major recessions. You started your business after 9/11. Let's talk about the odds you have And you are not, sorry, I don't know that you are like from a Hollywood or Bollywood Mughal family where you know everyone. You started from scratch. What is really, what keeps you going? What is the secret?
You know what? For me, the old adage, you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. I've always been enamored by entertainments. The Indian word dharma, I'm sure you do. It's like what you're meant to be, you're meant to do. It was my dharma to be in entertainment. As a kid, I remember seeing shows. My sister used to take me to shows. I just, just the energy in the room and the vibe, the feeling that you got. That's the feeling that I wanted to be a part of. And, I noticed that, there's people from all walks of life all coming together. They don't know each other. They're having this amazing time. And the collective vibe, the collective consciousness of people coming together, watching a show, that kinetic energy, man. I'm like, so I was hooked at a young age, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I didn't have schooling. I dropped out of school in 10th grade. I got my general education diploma. I studied the promoters in the country. I just, did the research and I studied the business and I just, there's another book called Outliers, 10,000 hours, then you become an expert in something. And reflecting back at it, he said, I started from scratch 20 years ago when I came to Vegas. I started from scratch when I arrived in Vegas, but there were 10 years prior to that. I just eat, sleep, breathe entertainment and the artists and their managers and the promoters in different territories in the country and the mechanics of how promoting worked. And then I saved up money when I was in my early 20s. Well, prior to that, I did some shows. I decided I rented a high school auditorium in Fairfield, Iowa when I was 21 years old. And, it was a bit of a hippie town. There was the people into transcendental meditation. You and I talked about that before. Everybody went to this little town to kind of be spiritual and meditate, all that stuff. And I got dragged there with my mom because my mom wanted to raise us in a kind of a spiritual environment. But going there and just being so bored being a city kid, I just wanted to do something different. So I saw some opportunities there, and I thought, what would be a great act here? So I brought in Richie Havens, which was the opening act at Woodstock. And I brought him to Fairfield. I went to a high school auditorium, and it sold out. And I started doing other shows, and I saved my money and went to this big conference in Florida, early 90s, this big promoter conference. And I just, wanted to meet all the people I read about. And one guy took me under his wing. He goes, "Hey man, where do you live?" Iowa. He goes, "I'm doing some shows for the Midwest. Do you want to help me? You want to work with me?" I said, "Of course." So someone gave me an opportunity back then, and I was hungry, and they recognized my hunger. And then I, basically learned from that guy. That I raised money for some friends and did some shows to learn my college degree in concert promoting, and that just evolved into other things. And
so that is
and I came
fantastic,
to Vegas.
Adam, that you are a self-made person and you learn really by doing it. I mean, this is still pre-internet days when we talk about 90s, because that's a formidable age when you were really learning these things. I will say early 90s. I mean, we are still learning, and you were able to learn so much by your own that you created 6 Vegas shows. You have 16 plus traveling shows, and it just phenomenal. But if I think about it, and if I distill a little bit what I understood so far is, so one thing goes in your favor is never give up, never quit. I'll continue to do it, and I will die trying. So that's one of the favorite quote from Will Smith.
Sure.
So I can be on the treadmill and I'll outdo you, but I'll keep trying, and if not, I'll die. So
was it Zig Ziglar that said, "Never, never, 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 never give up"? I forget who said that, but that was like a quote from somebody in that world.
That is really phenomenal. But some of the things which is still for our audience and me too, this is not an easy place for a new entrant like you to come in and create shows. So can you talk a little bit about 2 or 3 things? So we have a lot of budding entrepreneurs or the people who are interested in entertainment as a career, but they don't know. So what can they do? How can they start?
Well, I mean, listen, my advice works for me. I don't know if it could work for anybody else, but hopefully what I did inspires them. It's find what you're passionate about. I know it's a cliche, but if you're going to work, might as well do something that you enjoy and love doing. right? So if you can do that, what's better than that? So you find out, you know, what your passion is. Like, in that passion, what can I do in that realm? And the one thing I've learned is, I grew up a classic rocker. I love rock and roll music. And, I was around it my whole life. I play guitar today, and I wanted to be a rock concert promoter. And so when I started getting into the business, I found out that there are already established rock concert promoters, and to crack that business, it's going to be very, very challenging. So I had to find other things to do, still in entertainment, because at the end of the day, what makes me happy is watching audiences have a good time. You know what I mean? That feeling, right? When I said before. So you might be going down one path to do one thing, but be prepared to take the left or to the right. And just don't stop. Never stop. Keep flowing. You never know. It's not a straight path from here to victory. It's a zigzag. You know what I mean? But you got to have momentum. You got to keep doing stuff. You got to keep out there, because you never know when opportunity is going to knock, right? What do they say luck is? It's opportunity with having the knowledge ready at that right time. That's definitely what happened to me. So that would be my advice, is to whatever you're interested in, try to make it your passion. Try to follow the passion and study. Find out what other people have done. Find out how they got successful. Listen, find a mentor. Go knock on somebody's door and say, hey man, I'll work for you for free. You know what I mean? Let me know. I'm waiting for that kid to come to me and say, hey, I love what you do. I want to be a part of it, And I'd be like, great, come on, I'll show you everything. And be a sponge. Just be hungry for it,
No, that's very, very true, Adam. And there are a lot of amazing people I spoke in last 30 days, and almost everyone, when I talk to them, I realize they never give up, and they have this hunger to learn even today. And when I met you last time, I could see when we have a conversation where there is some learning involved, your eyes lit up, your face changes, and it's phenomenal. And we forgot these emotions growing up. When we were a kid, these were the primary emotion. Everything we see, we want to learn it, we want to grab it, we want to run fast, and as we grow older, we start chasing things instead of chasing these dreams. And that changes everything. And when I look at all the people who have done very well in their life, they are still chasing their dreams. They are still in pursuit of perfection, because we all know there is no perfection. God still hasn't perfected everything yet. He's still working on it. So we are there. So
just when you think you've learned everything, you haven't learned a thing. You're always learning. You're always learning new things. Don't be like this. I always say in my office, the best idea wins. There's no ego in anything. It could be the spotlight operator or the person cleaning the floor. I want everybody's input. You never know. So always be open to ideas.
Yeah. That's a startup environment. And all the companies, if you look at in Silicon Valley, was somebody's idea, a small idea. The classic example is Zoom. We had GoToMeeting, we had WebEx, we have so many other companies. And today Zoom has taken over the world, the whole world. And all they have done is they have taken it and just perfected it. But let's talk about the most complex question of today's talk. Pandemic has disrupted entertainment business to every single thing. We both understand that there is no substitute to live shows. You are doing live shows for 2 decades. You are an expert, and you have built a reputation that if somebody you are behind, that show is phenomenally successful. And even the digital marketing, which is very, very unique. But do you see a new kind of approach? I'm calling it omni-channel hybrid. I don't know what is the right word for it, but creating more of a experience like where partially it is live, partially it is on internet, partially with augmented reality. I don't know, but it looks like there is a need for people to have this physical connection without being present at that venue. So what's your take on that? And what do you think is the future of entertainment?
Well, it's a great question. And going back to the beginning of that question, there is no substitute for the live experience. I think no matter what you try to do, we did some live streaming, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So during this pandemic, we had to figure out how do we make money. So we did live streaming, we did these cameos, or performers would, would record messages for customers for money. So you have to figure out different ways to monetize what you're doing and connect with audiences. But there's no substitute, as you said, for that live experience at all. So anything other than that, I think is going to be challenged to get that same feeling. One of the things we're doing now, we call pivoting, trying to do different things, is we're doing this drive-through experience in LA. It's with the intellectual property called Elf on the Shelf. And so we partnered with Creative Artists Agency. They represent that brand. And it's going to be an Elf on the Shelf drive-through immersive experience. There's going to be RFID bands for everybody. It's going to make everybody feel connected. They're all going to be programmed. There's going to be an app that everybody downloads, and you can Bluetooth to your car. It'll be sort of a voice of God, if you will, talking through the experience. And it was all born out of what can you do during COVID to make people feel safe? Because at the end of the day, our job as producers and show presenters is to make sure that the customers are in a safe environment, the performers are safe, everybody's safe all the way around, because that's your responsibility. So that's what we're doing in Southern California. You go in your car, you drive through. It's going to be a magical experience. So I'm excited about that. But going back to the other points that you talked about, any technology that can connect people, you know what I mean? Somehow, some way, if we can be apart but feel connected, whether it's through artificial intelligence, or Zoom, whatever it is, I think that's cool. So if there's some sort of technology, like Zoom is great, but we've all experienced Zoom. You've got this matrix of people's faces and who's talking, and their face pops up, and you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like, it's a bit challenging to enjoy. It gets a little repetitious after a while, and we're not repetitious, a little annoying. So if there can be some technology that can be developed where people can be connected and not have all that, I think that would definitely help and go in the right direction. But again, I go back to, there's no substitute for live shows.
There is no substitute.
Change that, man. So
I watched Hamilton and paid.
Get there. If everybody's in a hazmat suit, sitting in the audience, at least we're together. Like we're opening our shows in Vegas. We finally get the green light from the governor. I call it a yellow amber light. But the performers have to wear masks. The audience has to wear masks. You have to be 25 feet from the stage where the audience is. So that's what we're doing. The show must go on, and we'll do whatever we can to. Again, the goal is live. There's no substitute for it.
No, I completely echo Adam on that. But just for your reference, we have IITians in 100 plus countries. We are close to 500,000 now, 23 institutions. Wow. So we all can't be in Las Vegas. Actually, this conference, which is virtual now, was supposed to be in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, we can't do that and bring the people here because of pandemic. So,
sure.
And I am really looking for ideas and suggestions. How do we create this experience? So the one thing we are planning to do is we are calling it watch parties. And we are requesting or suggesting people they can invite their friends, that they can make it open in different cities, different countries, wherever they are, or bars, whatever they like. And we will have a great tech setup. We are working with an amazing organization. But I'm looking for ideas and suggestions. How do we make it even more live experience? And this is one thing we thought may help us, where at least people who are watching, they are at one place, 5, 10, 20, 25 people, and these are your close friend. And of course, they either wear mask or they go through the testing, whatever the process this host decide. But let's go a little bit further. You and me both know YouTube and several other platforms like that, including Netflix, has changed entertainment industry forever. I know live industry is still evolving and there are a lot of changes happening in the live shows, but you are seeing entertainment evolving. So what you see is the future, and where do you see opportunities for technopreneurs or tech entrepreneurs in that?
Well, yeah, I mean, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Apple, it's all incredible. There's no need for cable television anymore. It's like you got everything that's live streamed to any device you have. So it's pretty incredible. We have all those apps, we have all the smart televisions, and we're thinking, we love choices, but how many times have you gone through cable and like there's 4 million channels, really nothing that you want? So, if you could just aggregate, and I'm sure there's technology now, all the things that you like are in one space. You know what I mean? There's artificial intelligence that goes, okay, he likes entertainment. kind of like what Alexa does, right? It kind of listens to you, as we know, and it feeds you things, like TikTok. You know what I mean? It's like maybe that's the channels that will come and aggregate for you. And also, like you said, for entertainment, it's an amazing tool to market to your fan base. Nothing better than to reach out to someone direct, because social media is an incredible medium. Nowhere else you can just, someone who actually went out of the way to like your brand, like a video, whatever. And now you can market to those people and spend less dollars doing that. You can do the same thing through a video too. So I hope that answers your question. I know it's a bit vague, but I'm trying to figure out how it would benefit.
No, I definitely find a couple of areas where, Adam, you have shared interesting opportunities for our audience. One is creating and thinking through fan experience differently and see how it can augment different kind of experiences for the fans. So live show is one, video is another one, maybe AR is another one, maybe social media, and connecting all of these so you can give or you can provide the best fan experience to your audience. And I can clearly see tons of opportunity, not just one, hundreds of opportunities, because this is not a simple problem. People like you solve this problem in their head, but putting in the computer using artificial intelligence and creating those network and patterns is harder than you and we both know that. But that is definitely very interesting. So I wanted to push a little bit on the technology side, and I'm hearing a lot about these depth sensing cameras, which almost give you like a real life experience. I'm sure you know about all this, but how do you see and what kind of internet-based opportunities you see around it?
Well, again, I go back to the live experience, right? How could you get that live experience, the same feeling if somebody can't make it to Las Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. So we just did our showroom, put a lot of money into it, one of our showrooms, and then we have Thunder from Down Under, which is our big brand. It's a mail review show from Australia. And the idea is live streaming, right? So if you can't make it to Vegas, you can make it, you can log in and watch and feel part of the experience. And I don't think it takes away from ticket sales. I think it actually helps market, just because at the end of the day, people are going to want to be there. And the more robust technology you have to bring that experience out in the real world, I think the better you're going to be. So I think that's the simplistic way of using that technology in the best way.
So let's go a little deeper. And I'm just going to throw some ideas which I think may be interesting if I'm watching as a live show. Sure. And based on what I know about technology. So for example, when you are performing live, I have option to move around. I have option to get up and go and see things from a different angle. I like this performer better. I like that side of the stage better. I go here and there. So that experience is kind of missing when I do live cast. Second thing missing to me is the audience. Their audience participation is not available to me. So how do I bring that audience participation in a streaming environment or in a video environment? That is missing. So recreating that somehow digitally, I see there are some interesting opportunities. I see tremendous opportunities using artificial intelligence, specifically when it comes to the camera angle. That the shot is, because you are using multiple cameras anyway. So the challenge is not the recording. How do you bring that recording together? And based on my personal experiences, maybe with my eye tracking or other movement, I can change the angle. So I see the same stage differently. And that create a very unique experience personally to me. Because if I'm watching a video, just like watching an amazing movie like Avatar, which is one of my favorite movie, I think they've done a brilliant job. But seeing it when I'm part of that Avatar movie is interesting. Some other opportunities I find interesting for the tech and our audience is product placement. And I'm using product placement loosely because it can be putting different objects in the show. So for example, you are in Australia, you change some of that context without redoing the whole show. Sure. You change some of that if you go to Spain, or you change that, so make it a little bit more personal. So that's some of the things I thought about it. But do you see anything like that, or some of the areas you personally say, hey, Sanjeev, if I have something like this, I'll definitely try it. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, when you were describing, the conference, being virtual before and having watch parties, the first thing that came to my head was if you could be interactive somehow. So you get 25 people at this guy's house, 25 people at this place, and but somehow they can all interact somehow, some way. I think that just will elevate it, not just to be able to watch, but to be able to interact. So that is key, because otherwise we all have ADD, right? We're looking and all of a sudden we're over here, you know what I mean? But if you're involved and you're engaged and there's questions being asked and you can get into the mix on that, I think that's going to really elevate it. Going to being in an audience, right? Virtually being in an audience, like augmented reality. Like, you've seen those. What am I talking to? You've seen those. You guys probably traded all this stuff. Yeah, but what a cool idea to be able to virtually, put something on, some glasses, and you are now in the Coliseum in Caesar's Palace, or you're now in, the Thunder from Down Under showroom, and now you're there, and you can actually move around the showroom, like you said before, to get different angles. So you're virtually there, and then maybe somehow, some way, there's a section of the show like, hey, we're going to throw it to, Juneau, Alaska, because we have this couple here, and they go on the screen, and now they're part of the show in the show, and you figure out some comedic bits, so it just works, flawlessly. I think that would be incredible. So there's a challenge to all of your intelligent tech colleagues out there to do that. I think it'd be absolutely mind-blowing. It'd be amazing. If you can't come to Vegas, Vegas will come to you,
So I'll give you a funny example and a very interesting conversation I had with the person named Nolan Bushnell. He's a founder of Atari, if you know him. Really, really brilliant guy, based out of Silicon Valley. Chuck E. Cheese and all belongs, he's the one who started all of that. And interesting story why he opened Chuck E. Cheese, by the way. Phenomenal guy. So I met him, I think 7-8 years ago. I think I should reach out to him, or 6 years ago. So Nolan got involved in this idea. It's before pandemic, where he says, I cannot bring everybody to the sports stadium, but I can create multiple stadiums like watch parties. And then you 25, 30 of you friends, you are watching, but not with the cameras, because camera kind of very restrictive, motion sickness. It's still getting perfected. I'm sure it'll be there where you and me can have more or less like a natural experience. And that's where initially I was telling you about the movie Ready Player One. But coming back to Nolan Bushnell, so he has invested substantially, actually, in it's more like a real VR kind of opportunity, where using hologram, you recreate the stadium environment in a private arena where you have 50 or 100 people. So almost like a theater, cinema theaters. Yep. But now, instead of a screen, it has holograms, and where players are running, hitting the ball, everything is digitized in a way, and it's all real. And you feel you are in the game. Amazing concept. I don't know where are they with the technology, but he has invested, and a lot of people have invested a lot. So there are a lot of things going around. There are a lot of investment being made in these areas. What is your take on that?
I think it's incredible. Again, the more you can connect people, and you can do it more cost effectively, which this seems to be the most, the cost is going to be the technology, but once the technology is done, the cost goes down over time. To basically have an event going on, like a boxing match, for example. It's going to be, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, you get two heavyweights going, and all of a sudden you're in, Dubai, and you want to watch the same thing live. It's recreated right there. Is that where you're going? Is that where you're headed?
Exactly.
That would be mind-blowing. I was talking to a gentleman, this guy, his name's Alki David. He's got this technology, the hologram technology. And he was talking about that too, how politicians can be in one place and they get beamed everywhere. You know what I mean? It could be like a hologram all over the place. It could be live one place, and the technology is you beam them in other places. So it's sort of like the same thing. And that just reaches so many more people to get your word out there. So again, going back to technology being used for good and for joy and stuff like that, the sky's the limit, what you can do with it. But yeah, if that was around right now, that'd be mind-blowing. It'd be incredible.
So we are almost there, Adam. And I think that can be a good challenge for our audience. How do you recreate real experience and when you are not real? So it is very interesting. It's a conundrum, right? So what should
Right.
real virtual experience? That's what we are talking.
A real virtual experience.
So that'll be
and will audiences pay money for that? I mean, I don't know. I was approached to do some shows with holograms. You know what I mean? I thought, oh, this is great. We can, bring back, Whitney Houston was one of the shows. We can bring back, some of the performers that are no longer around. And I thought to myself, how much do I want to see a fake? I mean, how much of appeal is it going to be to watch an entire show with just a fake person? And by the way, when I first thought of hologram technology, you didn't realize it wasn't the real person, like, CGI'd and redone and stuff like that. It's actually an impersonator dressing up like the person, in the green suit with little things on them so they can track it. So maybe because I know the technology and I'm like, it's not really the real person, I don't think I'd be that interested in watching an entire show of that. Now, would somebody else might want to see a boxing match or a wrestling match or a soccer match? Who knows? But I question that to see if people actually do it. Definitely try it.
No, but I think Adam, while listening to you, I kind of agree, and I really like, and that may be the reason Nolan Bushnell picked up sports as first one, because in the sports, the real experience is everything. I mean, you and me have like whatever 85-inch TV or whatever the maximum size TV. I even bought whatever the biggest size TV I could get, so I can feel literally immersive experience, and I can see the damn ball every single second. Right. And that's so phenomenal, right? So if I am hanging out with my buddies and I am watching that immersive experience and I'm not wearing these complex things and all, so it is still pretty real experience. It can be very interesting for sports. I do agree with you on shows like yours or entertainment shows. It may be very hard to recreate that environment. However, my son is doing drama major from NYU, and I was having this conversation with him that what he sees as a future, because he's a young kid, right? So they don't have any barriers. So they don't have a box. They think. So he said, Dad, yeah, I see there are a lot of complexities, and I see there are a lot of problems in the entertainment, especially live shows and Broadway. I mean, he's like going the hardcore. So the Broadway shows, the business is completely gone. Nobody's going to New York shows. I don't know when will it start. And whenever it will start, it's not going to have that many audience. And how many people will pay $1,500 tickets to even keep it running? So, right. so the idea I shared with you, it's from him. He says, Dad, why don't we think of having like 50 cameras, not 5 cameras? And we use technology. He knows I'm from technology world. We use technology, and based on the person's seating he picks in a physical world, he sees that view.
Yeah.
And it at least, and then exactly what you were talking about in the Zoom watch parties, if you can bring and allow people to talk to each other, maybe even more fun, because Broadway show, I cannot even talk. Here I can talk.
Sure.
So there will be some cool, interesting ideas, I'm sure will come, but I know, and I agree with you, it will be really hard. So do you have a challenge for our audience? Anything you think technologically using AI, especially artificial intelligence, or any areas you think AI can play a better role, in your opinion?
Oh my goodness, I'd have to think on that one. And I'll probably think of 10 ideas after we do this interview later on. Nothing really comes to my mind. I mean, obviously on the health side, scanners, you want to be able to go to a scanner and go, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. On the health, because the health system in this world is just terrible, and there's so much sickness going on. And so the corona now, it'd be great to have technology in that world. But in my world, I mean, my wife has a business called Vegas Girls Night Out. She plans bachelorette parties in Vegas. Kind of a turnkey. Girls come from out of town. They come to Las Vegas. They go on her website. But she packages up deals. Like she'll take Thunder from Down Under, a limo, a nightclub, etc. She's been forever trying to have automated software that can actually, automatically email all the partners. You know what I mean? So they can facility work. Right now it's all manual. So that's probably something somebody can work on. I know it's not a big thing, and then I'll probably think of some more bigger things again after we talk about this. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. Something like
No,
that.
the collaboration is a big challenge, Adam. We know that what you're asking for a collaboration, and Slack is there. There are so many other interesting tools are there, but how easy it is. It's not about doing it. It's the ease of use and how you automate it. So I see what you're saying is, can AI create more of a predictive models based on your past history and start taking the message and send it to the people who are more, who should be in that message, instead of you thinking through and typing their email or adding them in a WhatsApp group. So it's like an ad hoc, let's say ad hoc WhatsApp group or ad hoc email group created based on the message you type with few key parameters. That can be interesting.
That'd be incredible. Again, it's like work smarter, not harder. What can you do to, get things going smoother and faster and quicker so you can work on more things? And there's always a bottleneck someplace. So if we just analyze everything, and ticketing is the lifeblood of Las Vegas, right? So we can figure out the best way, the best ticketing system. And the ticketing systems are, Ticketmaster, and there's a few other ones that seem very technologically advanced, but they're simple things like bundling they can't do. Like, just like anywhere else, you go to Amazon, other people have liked this product. Would you like to add this on? Would you like fries with that, like McDonald's? You can't do it.
So there is no recommendation engine for that?
No recommendation engine for it. It's just, you can't bundle. You can't go on Ticketmaster and say, all right, I want a ticket. Oh, would you like some merchandise? Would you like this? It's like a cocktail at the show. You can pre-buy it. You know what I'm saying? You've got the people right there. Get the money before they come to Las Vegas. That's the goal with us, is get them so we know that we've got their dollars already spent, and we want to give them the best value for the dollar, and also make it easier for them, more turnkey. So the more technology that can help that, the more packages we can sell, the better it's going to be for better customer experience. Yeah. Everybody wins. So you would think that after all these years and the technology that's out there, that these companies would have this technology, and it's not all there.
And it's not that complex, Adam. I live 20 years. I lived in almost Silicon Valley and started 6 companies in tech space. So this is not a complex problem to solve. However, on the same note, I still don't see a simple thing, just to echo your frustration. When I go and book a hotel room, for example, I'm coming to Vegas or I'm going to some nice resort. Well, it'd be nice to see my profile from Facebook. Everybody knows my Facebook profile. I mean, it's no matter what I do, Facebook share all that information. People even know where I ate without me telling them. So they can make recommendations based on additional things, like maybe a round of golf, maybe a practice round, maybe let's say you're a shitty player. I have a guy there right there for you. And Mr. Goyal, since you are coming here first time, first 10 minutes is free, then we are going to charge you for next 50 minutes. Some crazy offers like that. You're right. Actually, you're right. And these are not very complex things.
Right. I mean, predictive, like you said, like artificial, knowing, just go from your Facebook, whatever you shared publicly, that you maybe didn't even know you shared, that you've let people in on your world. Yeah, recommend all these things. I like rock and roll. Oh, did you know this concert's there, that concert's there? And then you figure out what people like and serve them those ads, serve them those options. So
like YouTube history. If I know what kind of music you like, I make recommendation. Hey, you may not like this. You may like this show. So why go here? Why don't you go here?
Exactly.
That's a clever idea. That's a good AI project. I'm sure our audience, someone can solve it pretty much like in few months. He can have the damn product out. Who knows how many new companies we are going to start with just this conversation.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I can have great ideas. I can have all I wants and everything. We don't run our own box office. My wife does because she's an affiliate. But the box office is run by the casino. So whatever your technology colleagues can come up with, we have to go to the, in my case, MGM corporate and say, oh, listen, we want to augment your ticketing system. Here's how we can sell more tickets. Here's how we can make more money and sell to them. And then it trickles down to everybody else. But yeah, it's a massive opportunity to, increase the volume of business here.
Yeah, not just that, just the size, the experience. So Adam, especially with pandemic, I think, and I am talking about this self check-in, check-out kind of thing for a long time. And it's interesting that, in fact, we were the not first one, but we have the most successful QR code based campaign. We were on 500 million Heinz ketchup bottle. So the same QR code, I can enable it in such a way that you don't need any infrastructure. The person walking in, you already know he has a ticket. or he has something very quick to scan. So that way you improve the efficiency, you improve the customer experience, you even show him additional options. So there are so many things technology can do even while you are attending the event, and even show you different things related to that event when you are in the stage, or when you are close to the stage. Now I don't know how much of that we want, because we want them to turn off their phone and focus on the show. That's a different thing. But pre and post conference, there are hundreds of opportunity I can clearly see. I'm surprised there is nobody there. So that definitely is an interesting opportunity for our audience. So I have one last question for you before I let you go.
Okay.
And I am becoming a big fan of really looking at people's life and seeing what has worked. And one word I find, I like, most of the people who are, not most, almost everyone who is successful, they say is curiosity. They are here because they were curious. They are here because they want to learn more about it. They are here because they wanted to try this out. They didn't have all the answers, but they were just curious. So what role curiosity has played in your life?
Everything. I think I'm like 99% of the other people you've asked. It's like, you're curious about something because it touches something inside of you. There's something that sparks a joy. That there's something very intriguing. So of course you want to follow that bliss, right? Follow the bliss is, been known all over the world. What is that? And then you're curious of how do you get there? Like, what's the technique? How do you do it? So curiosity is everything. It also killed the cat, but that's another story.
How far do you go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, curiosity is everything, man. Because I think the nature of life is to grow, to learn, to do bigger and to do better and to expand, and going back to being a kid and a sponge, and is to learn everything. So yeah, curiosity is everything, man. You gotta wonder, how does that work? How does that light work? How does that spotlight work? Like when I went to the first concert, like I mentioned earlier, I was like, this is incredible. But I was looking behind the stage, like, who's running the soundboard? Who turns the lights off? Like, who puts the screen up there? You know what I mean? Like, these are all things that I was curious about, that I wanted to learn, and I learned it and figured out how to make a living at it.
Yeah, it's so amazing, Adam. That's so fun, and it was really great talking to you. I hope to stay engaged and learn more from you, and maybe you will continue to share more ideas, which I can share with our 500,000 audience, or I'll say alumni. I'm targeting to reach out to all of them. We are in 100+ countries, but this is phenomenal. And I'm so glad you took time today to talk to us. I want to thank you very much for supporting IIT alumni community globally. Hello, everyone. This is Sanjiv Goyal, Conference Chair of IIT2020.org, Pan IIT USA's mega virtual event. Join us, co-invent and co-define paradigms for this new future. Please register at IIT2020.org. Our event is open to all. And Adam, thank you very, very much once again for your time today.
Hey, thank you for having me. And, hats off to the 500,000 people that are watching this, that are in the tech world. I mean, you're the backbone of the world. You're the ones that are going to make America and the world and everybody else great. I mean, this is all from your mind, creating this incredible stuff. So hats off to you. I could never do it. I don't have that type of brain. Very thankful for everybody that has this type of brain and that passion to bring these cool inventions to the world, man. So kudos to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Adam. I can't thank you. Well, this is exciting, man. So please do let me know. I just stopped Facebook Live, but please do let me know if there is anything, any ideas you have. I'd love to share with our alums. We have a startup. We are calling it a startup showcase, where we are inviting all the companies to participate, submit their information and ideas. I'll take a couple of the ideas, what you have shared, and put it out there and see what kind of traction we get. But if you have other ideas, I'll be happy to put it out there. Who knows?
It'd be amazing to find a room in Vegas that me and you and partners in your world can partner with to bring the most technically advanced venue on the planet right here in Las Vegas and have it be a showcase, you know, for other places in Las Vegas and the world. So all this unbelievable technology, it'd be great to aggregate it all in the entertainment field into one room as a template and try things there. And how cool would that be to start it here in Las Vegas, come up with a cool name. And, you know, if you want the most technologically advanced experience of your life, come here, or you can virtually be there or whatever. Just a thought, man. No better place to do it in Las Vegas.
I 100% agree. That's the reason I proposed a Las Vegas venue, and they agreed to it. So the whole Penn ID board agreed to it, but pandemic happened. But this is a brilliant idea. We can still pull it through, at least a prototype of it to start with. Maybe a good person to partner with is Nolan Bushnell himself.
Sure.
Do you know him, Nolan Bushnell?
I don't know, no.
So I'll give you a little bit of his story. So Steve Jobs used to intern with him.
Oh, no kidding.
So he's that iconic guy.
Got it.
And I'm sure you remember Atari game. People were buying these consoles, connecting with the TV. So he
used to love it. Space Invaders.
Exactly. So he's the guy. And the reason he started Chuck E. Cheese is because he said nobody can pay that kind of money for the games. So they were playing with these games, and they were having good time. Basically, that was the idea he had. And that's how Chuck E. Cheese become. And that's the reason Chuck E. Cheese pizza is pretty pathetic, because it's not designed for adults. It's designed for kids. They just want cheese and some dough so they can go and play.
Right, that's it. It's an excuse to go play. My daughter loves it. Brilliant idea.
Yeah, and kids love it because they are not looking for spices. They are not looking for taste. They're just looking for some energy and some, like, whatever the fat and protein and all it has. And so they perfected it. So the beauty so when I met this guy, I was really surprised. Just like you, he's pretty self-taught person. He definitely is still an icon in Silicon Valley and globally too, because his contribution to the world. Atari kind of paved, in fact, the lot of foundational thing, if you see in Apple world, came from Atari. So think of it as, when Steve Jobs was interning with him, that's where he got the ideas. Oh, okay, this TV, can this TV be something else? And that's how a lot of the foundational work happened on the computers. Then people came up with the idea of networking. So you and me can play at the same time. So internet, it's before internet. Internet came later, and then it continued to evolve. So a lot of the things, if we look back, it started with very simple ideas. Like what you talked about today, I guarantee you it's going to spark a lot of things. I never thought these problems still exist even. Now you're saying, holy shit, there are like plethora of solutions can be built around fan management, ticket management, recommendation, looking at, because today, if you don't know, you may already know. So when you are on a webcam, your eye tracking can be captured, and I can move things with that right now. That technology already exists.
Right.
Right. So let's talk about this conference, the room. That'll be very cool if you have 5 more minutes. Yeah. What do you think can be that? Just give me some ideas, because you are into it. Then I will try to find some sponsors or some people around in our network and see if we can build something.
Yeah, again, the idea is, you know, building a room that's the most technologically advanced room on the planet. Like your son said, have 50 cameras, don't have 4 cameras. So whatever happens in this room, not only the experience live, but when we get back to live, which is going in that direction, is the most mind-blowing surround sound, videos everywhere, interactive with the audience to the stage somehow, some way. Maybe there's little devices that, you know, whatever it is, and we create a show that caters to the technology, right? We reverse engineer it. We go, okay, what's the technology we have? What content can we put in there that can really bring this out and make it like tenfold of the experience because of the technology? And then outside, to be able to virtually be in this room, that technology all advanced. It's what the ticketing stuff we just talked about, every single nuance of the live entertainment experience perfected to the best it could possibly be, aggregated into this one room. in this one experience. And then we have, intellectual property with all this stuff. Then we start licensing the products everywhere. But the Vegas becomes the showpiece for it. I don't know how much money it's going to take, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, depending on the technology and what it is. And then the show part of it's easy. I've got that part down. And then we can, get some amazing creative directors to integrate technology with the show. So it could be 3 different shows. It could be a naughty show at nighttime with girls with topless, and that could be a whole different world of a customer. It could be a family show, like my Human Nature show at Motown.
Yeah.
And you've got all these amazing Motown greats that are coming in and doing duets. And you got, I'm making it up. Marvin Gaye comes in, or this one comes in, and that. You already have that technology, but how do we make it better? How do we make
it a personalized experience?
Personalized experience, exactly. And then not too. Again, back to what I was saying before about the having holograms in a show. It's a bit creepy after a while. It's like, to me, I don't know about other customers, but my gut tells me too much. But if pepper it here and there, it's kind of cool. So again, using the technology for the most incredible experience, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and they're the most technologically advanced venue on the planet. I think we could do here in Vegas, and get everybody on your team to work on it, to contribute to it. And we create an LLC, and there's
Bala, the team, I have to figure that out, but because you and me both know, this is not a problem of one product. This is where we have to envision 10 or 20 companies, including companies like Facebook, partner with us and create it. So this is a very unique problem.
Exactly. Everything. So you're basically hitting every medium out there. You're touching every single demographic. And like you said, artificial intelligence, the biggest key for Vegas is getting people before they come here to figure out what they want to do. Because 80 to 90% of people, they don't know. They come to Vegas, they see a billboard, they talk to the concierge, they talk to the Uber driver. We want to get their money before they get here. At least we've got that. And if we can figure out what their likes are and what the experience they're looking for, we can target that. And then,
Now, I'll give you some very simple problems which I faced personally, because I'm coming to Vegas for almost 14, 15 years now. And for first 4 or 5 years, I was just packing my bag and coming and literally bagging people for work. I mean, just the way you came here in 2000, I came here and everybody look at me and say, yeah, we won't give you any business. And today, almost half of the casinos of some substance use technology we have developed. Not 1 or 2. You M Life, we have built the pieces of that. You go to Caesars, we have done tons of work for them. You go to several other casinos, analytic products they are using for floor and all that. We have built all those things. So I have learned a lot about Las Vegas, and I find very fascinating. And what I learn is, big thing I learn is, if they can't see it, they won't buy it. So I really like your idea of, because this is something very visual. So what I like with the approach and what you're talking about is, because we need a different kind of venues now. And the venues can't be the way the venues today we have it. It has to be a little more personal experience. And the way the show is, which is hybrid model we are talking about it, is which is live as well as available available through internet, but a very different experience, more immersive experience, not like a typical video streaming, where you feel like you're part of this show. So it requires, for example, I'm not a big fan of AR headset as of now, because VR headset, because, and we have done a lot of work in that space personally, actually. It's not a greatest technology, because it's still, motion sickness is a big problem. I can't wear it for more than 15, 20 minutes, and it feels like something is strapped on my head.
Right.
Yeah. So I need to create a better experience. And there are ways I can still create close to that, especially with now these depth perception cameras, far deeper experience within this. And using technology, AI technology, I can morph a lot of things into one. So for example, those 40 screens, or 40 cameras images, I can create one display, one big, just with that. Because technologically it is possible. It may not be perfect initially, but it can be perfected as we go along. So there are a lot of things can be done, but that'll be pretty cool project to even think about it. Doing it is like, okay, because first we have to think about what is out there and what is possible. I love to do brainstorming once you come back with you, maybe a whiteboard one of these days, at least put it on paper before we shelve it or give it to somebody to try it out.
Sure. No, I'm down, man. I think it'd be incredible.
Yeah. So Facebook definitely will be one interesting company to collaborate with. And second will be, of course, I think the Hero cameras. They have pretty cool cameras now. So using some more consumer grade kind of stuff and combining it, maybe be interesting with professional cameras.
Yeah, all that. I think it's incredible. Again, the sky's the limit with the ideas, you know? It's just because there's so much technology. How do you like aggregate it all together and integrate it and make this most incredible fucking experience where you can't even get a ticket? The big ticket's going to be on the inside, but then you can also virtually pay for it, but you want to be in the bubble. You want to be in that venue.
The bubble
experience.
That's the bubble. You're outside the bubble. Wait.
Exactly.
Yeah. Creating a 50-seat experience and so immersive that you feel like you're literally, I mean, for example, you're literally playing with a human nature band.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? 100%. Yeah.
Actually, you know, you gave me another idea. What we can do it is, if you are inside, this can be, and this is not that complex to build, by the way. Funnily enough, so you have 50 people in the audience. You have to come here. The ticket price is $2,000. But we pre-record you 3D. So you move around, you go through some system, almost like X-ray, and we recreate an avatar of you. Now, when you are there, you can be on the stage whenever you want, and all your fans or friends can watch you playing with the human nature while you are there. That experience you can create today with technology.
Genius. I love that.
All right. We'll talk once you're back from Costa Rica.
Mexico. Go to Mercado, exactly. One more quick thing. So one of the many ideas, I've got so many show ideas that, you know, you tried, didn't work for whatever reason, we put them on the shelf. But one of them is, because Vegas is always evolving, right? Now it's like this walk-through immersive experience, like Happy Place or the ice cream museum. You want to, you know, Instagrammable moments, you know, low ticket price. One of the ideas that me and some partners came up with about 10 years ago was the same thing, but rock and roll, right? The road to rock and roll. So you're going through this maze, if you will. Maybe it's a cobblestone street, and you've got, you know, you go back in the 40s, it's jazz, it's the precursor to blues, and then you go to the blues, you go Memphis, Beale Street, and then, you know, then you get the 60s and the Haight-Ashbury, and, you know, and then Woodstock. And one of the experiences that we wanted to create, an idea was, what would it be like to be on the stage at Woodstock, right next to Jimi Hendrix, or right next to, you know, Carlos Santana, or whatever, and you're smelling the weed, you're smelling the whatever, and you're there, and you see the mud. I mean, and that's all being, you know, filmed, so you can take that home with you. Okay, there I am. And like you said, your friends can see you up there. I mean, that to me would be like the most incredible recreation. And you could do that. If that worked for that, why couldn't you take people back in time to other experiences and have them be a part of that experience, you know? Just another idea to expound on, you know, how to use artificial intelligence, how to use these 4K cameras, how to use, you know, Pepper's Ghost or whatever it's going to be, you know, to figure that out. So anyway, the sky's the limit, my friend.
No, but this one simple idea which I shared with you, it's not that complex to do in terms of technology available today. See, a lot of things when we talk about it, we talk really like a blue ocean thinking. This is something with the very small arena, like a 50 seats, rounds, or like the standard setting. Of course, nicer acoustic and all. And with some setup where as soon as these people come in, we ask them to come half an hour before or something like that to make it even more difficult for them. So they feel like something is happening. They go through this like 30 or 40 camera setup. So where when they move around, we take their body structure completely, height, weight, facial and all pictures. And we create an avatar which almost looks like them. And then we have 40 or 50 pre-recorded videos with the skeleton, and we morph their skin on these skeleton, which we already pre-built. Now they can put it on there whenever they are there. So it's not like they have to create, like, I wanted to skid on the stage. Like, you know, I slide with my guitar like that. That's already pre-built, but they can pick it and they can see it only when they are in the arena. And then when they shoot it to their friends, they can say, oh shit, you really did that? Because the guy is going to look just like that.
But then also have the person experience what it's like what are you seeing? Like to me, you're on stage with, I'm making it up, U2, and you're in a stadium. Then all of a sudden you're standing next to Bono singing, you know? What's that? And then from your point of view, you get to feel what that feels like, to have that, all that energy come at you. You know what I mean? I think if we give people that experience, to be a rock star for a half an hour, for an hour, forget about it, man.
But that is easy. That's not difficult.
Let's do it then.
Experience to build it. That's nothing. There is not much technology there.
Okay. Well, then I think that'd be amazing. You get bands like Rolling Stones, U2, Bon Jovi, whatever, and you kind of deal with them. Hey, customers can feel out what it's going to be like to experience being Bon Jovi or being Bono, and you're on the stage, and you know, maybe I haven't thought about it thoroughly. I'm just talking out loud. So
let me understand a little bit.
I just realized I got to get out of here. I'm going to Pilates at 11.
Okay. So we can talk later, but just so how different it is from an immersive experience I have in Universal Studios when you go in the tram and you are in that tunnel, and when I'm seeing the gorilla jumping on me and I'm feeling the real fear and my train is moving and all. How different it is from that?
It's not that different, but you're basically on a stage in a stadium. And yeah, it could be the same thing. You're hearing the crowd go. Maybe it's a reproduction of a live show that they've done, and somehow you're augmented. You're in there, and then you're on the stage. Yeah. And then maybe if you're a guitar player, you can play along with it. You know what I mean? Maybe if you're a drummer, you can play the drummer, and you can be, you know.
So all that is possible. Go ahead for your Pilates. Let's talk once you're back. Cool. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for the talk, man. It's cool.
Bye.
Look forward to talking more. Bye-bye.
Same here.